Everybody, welcome to another episode of the Fair Chase podcast. Before we start this episode, we're going to again take a little time to thank a little bit of the people who help make this show possible.
First up is TUO Gear. It's a new brand that we just started partnering with. They make awesome high-end technical hunting clothes, camo. And so they're based in Michigan,
Yep.
and new company. We've tested them for months. I tested them in the whitetail season last year.
Great merino base layers.
Yep, great
awesome
merino
shells.
base. Yeah,
awesome new pattern.
A great system for going out west, but we'll use it a ton in the whitetail woods too. So really excited to work with them. TUOgear.com. Go check them out. Next up is Worldwide Trophy Adventures. It's an awesome, basically, connection to outfitters all over the world. So as a lot of people know, good hunting ground is really hard to come by. And oftentimes the best way to ensure that you're going to get in a good spot, or maybe you need to legally have a guide, is to go through an outfitter.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as you might know if you've heard us before, we've had good experiences and bad experiences with outfitters. Which means, in order to ensure you're going to have a good experience, you have to do a ton of research, you have to talk to people, it's just a lot of messing around. Worldwide Trophy Adventures, or WTA, does a lot of this work for you at no charge. So by booking your trip through WTA, you can rest assured that you'll be in a good location with a reputable outfitter that they've certified and endorsed. If you're looking to book a trip of a lifetime like I am, just headed to a moose hunt here through WTA, you're going to want to check them out. Go give them a call. Actually, I have the number right here. It's 1-800-346-8747, or check out their website at worldwidetrophyadventures.com.
All right, so we love Trophy Line. They offer more than just saddles. Believe it or not, they have their own climbing sticks. They've got platforms. They've got a ton of extra
packs.
gear. They've got packs. They've got everything.
Knee pads.
Everything that you're going to need to be a saddle hunter, they have it. So if you want to start saddle hunting this year and get into the game like everyone else and really love hunting even more, go to Trophy Line, check it out, use the code TFC10 to save yourself 10% on that purchase.
We're big bow hunters. Sights, quivers, stabilizers, those kind of things are really important if you're going to have a deadly setup. And so we've tried a lot of different companies in the industry, and we've kind of figured out that we really like Redline gear the best. So we are shooting their torch sights this year.
It's a really cool sight. There's a lot of good micro adjustments you can make. You can customize a lot of the stuff on there. Really make it your own.
The chargeable USB rechargeable light is
really
sweet.
Cool.
And so we're huge fans of their stuff. We use them all the time. It's worth going to check them out. Check out Redline. Use the promo code TFC10 for 10% off your purchase, and let us know what you think. We love them. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Fair Chase podcast. I've got an exciting guest here today that I'm excited to kind of dive into some stuff with. But before we do, I've got something that I want to remind you guys about. So if you're gearing up for hunting season, you're going to want to listen closely to what I've got to tell you. We've got an offer that can score you up to $750 worth of gear. This amazing promotion is brought to you by our friends at Christensen Arms. We're big fans of their firearms, and so if you don't know them, they basically created the first carbon fiber barrel back in 1995. So they've been making world-class rifles since I was about, something like that. Now, through October 31st, when you buy any eligible Christensen Arms rifle, you can send their team a form that you'll receive with your receipt. And once they verify your purchase, they'll give you basically an electronic gift card that you can use on their online store. $750 worth of gift card. It's stocked with premium accessories for your Christensen rifle. It's also got stuff from brands like Leopold, Mystery Ranch, Half Face Blades, Uncharted Supply Company, and a bunch more. So go to christensenarms.com to learn more and take advantage of this good offer. All right, Aaron, thanks for jumping on and taking time to talk with me today. Let me just preface this: Aaron heads up TUO Camo, TUO Gear, and TUO is a brand that, if you guys have been paying attention, we just started working with, and so. Whereas in your guys' office yesterday, shooting some videos and stuff, and thought, man, it would be really great to have you on to talk to people a little bit about TUO, kind of the idea behind it and stuff like that. But before we jump in, Aaron, you just want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, good morning, James. Thanks for having me on here. So had a lot of fun here talking about TUO and this Discovery Day, and certainly you being part of this journey with us. This journey, believe it or not, when you start a new brand and you're trying to bring product to market, it starts with an idea. And certainly we had an idea, and more importantly, a passion and technical prowess that we brought together the team to, what I would say, bring a brand new solution, if you will, to the performance hunter, the guy going out west, the guy that needs the demands of best materials, best fit, best fabric. And so I've been in the industry for quite a while, creating soft goods, and this is just an exciting new venture we're taking on, and so excited to be on the program today.
Yeah, excited to have you. I mean, the first thing that you'll notice by looking at this, the TUO Gear is like this cool camo pattern. And so, tell me what it like. How do you come up with a pattern like that? What goes into developing something like that? Why'd you go this route? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, camo patterns are certainly important in as we go. And certainly we have some solids in the collection as well, but many brands, if you will be interpreted by really the camo that you see at shelf level. So really the most important thing is it's got to function in the field. So we call the camo pattern TUO Verse. And why we call it verse is we believe it's a very versatile pattern that you can use. I don't, if you're above tree line, below tree line, spot and stock mule deer, to you can be in the alpines, calling an elk. You can be on the prairies. In fact, we'll talk a little bit about later. I'm going out antelope hunting in South Dakota here in a few weeks. It's just a very versatile camo. And then, certainly as we think forward too on any elevated positions, I think TUO will be a great camo pattern. And as most people know, camo's effective to break up your silhouette. And so not only does the camo have to be the right shades, if you will, of darks and lights, which creates the breakup, is you get away from a camo pattern. We've done a lot of testing, 25 yards, 50 yards, 100 yards, 200 yards. And the essence of the pattern and the chaos that it really brings, if you will, to your silhouette is amazing. And the further you get away, the more darks show up and the more lights show up, which really gives you more of a breakup. So I'm excited that number one, it's effective. And number two, I think it's really cool. I mean, at the end of the day, let's just be facts are facts. Some people create fashion camo, and I think we have a great camo that not only looks great behind a grip and grin or just an outdoor vista, but it's also effective in the field. So TUO verse camo, I think is a great combination for any pursuit you might have.
Yeah, and I like it too. I like the close up. It looks one way, far away it looks another way. A lot of the times, the camo that I've grown up using, like once you get past like 50 yards, it just turns into a green blob. Which whatever, that's fine. But it's not really if you're trying to make an effective a pattern that breaks you up at different distances. That really won't do it. Kind of that micro type of pattern. So I tested your stuff back even late last season. So I got to use it for trying to stock up on deer in like the snow, which it worked really well, and even just out of a tree stand. So far so good. Their solids are sweet too. I think the deadfall color is a good color, and a lot of my stuff is.
Yeah, it was interesting when you talk about, we certainly have plans, to certainly have a whitetail collection at some point. So we did take a lot of imagery to your experience, James, and to some of the pictures we took in elevated late season, and it has a great effectiveness in the tree as well. So, I think it's just important to have camo that's effective, and we really push the limit. I believe that if we did a mugshot lineup and you had camos out there, I think it stands out, and we really push the limit to create this chaotic look to it. So it's not kind of mundane and in the general zip code and everything else, and yet it's not so far over the edge where I won't name some camo brands. I'm like, man, that looks dumb. It doesn't even look cool, and it looks dumb. And so I think we really try to straddle that line to be different and innovative and give something, gives intrigue, if you will, to that initial shelf look that people make a decision on many times.
All right, we're going to take a pause here real quick and just thank a few more guys and companies that help make this show possible. First up is Vortex. We can't say it enough. We love their glass. We love their binoculars, spotting scopes, rangefinders, their apparel. James is rocking a nice little hoodie here. They make awesome stuff. And if you guys are looking to make a purchase at Vortex, go over to their website and use the code TFC20 to save yourself 20% on the next purchase. That's a big, good discount. Use it. Head over there and get something.
A bow makes a man.
Does
and,
it?
Yeah, that's what I was told. And we're big fans of prime bows. Shooting it for years, Michigan-based company. We're shooting their latest Revix series of bows. Mine's that 36 long boy.
I'll generally take a few shots right back here and just.
Yeah, we're huge fans. Smooth, great balance. They're just go check them out. There's tons of technology. One of my favorite things that they have is their grip. Space age technology keeps your hand warm even when it's cold. Highly recommend. Go check out Prime Archery. Finally, Lathrop and Sons boots. Your feet kill animals. Like the more you walk, the more chances you have at getting that big buck, that big elk, moose, whatever it is. Lathrop and Sons have been kind of our go-to boot of choice for a while now. We've put in a lot of miles, taken them all over the place. There's no leaking. It's comfortable. Stephen and James there they're like foot scientists.
They're geniuses. I got messed up feet, and they basically will, you take an imprint of your foot. They'll look at it, look at your arch, how wide it is, how narrow, how long, and they literally build the boot around your foot. So you're not going to a box store and picking up something that you hope is going to fit your boot. These things actually are tailor-made to your foot. So they're super comfortable. Mine, I could walk all day in them. So if you're looking to get a boot, if you're looking for a boot that's made for you and not somebody else, go check out Lathrop and Sons.
Yeah, and I like I can see it right behind me. I've got my pile of moose gear behind me here as I get ready to go. But almost the stripe pattern reminds me of a little bit of like what I liked about the ASAT camo, if anybody remembers that back in the day. Like I wore a lot of it because as ridiculous as it looked, for whatever reason, I was like invisible when I wore it for pretty much anything I hunted. So one of the things that drew me to this right away was that like it's got like a striped, almost like some stripes in there or something. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I don't know how it'll show up in camera for you guys, but the colorations are pretty amazing. So pretty excited, really excited about it. And again, that's a first look of what, you talk about some of these other brands that have been out that have been on the front edge of innovation and unique look. Well, at the end of the day, that camo pattern does really imprint what people think initially about the brand. Then it's everything else that comes after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So looks good. All right. How does it fit? So tell me a little bit about what goes into, figuring out how to size clothes, get them the right cut. Like that seems like that's got to take a lot.
Oh, I tell you what, it's a load of fun. And I say that sarcastically. So here's a couple things for the audience to know about is that, at the end of the day, a pant's a pant and a jacket's a jacket, just on the very surface level. But below the tip of the iceberg, there's a lot of things that happen with actually making that garment come to life and move with body. And I will tell you, one of the first things that's super important is the fabrication. So we have a great fabrications team. So when we look at textile development, we look at two-way stretch, we look at four-way stretch, we look at the type of yarns being used. You're trying to achieve durability, you're trying to achieve stretch in the garment, and then finally the fit is how you shape the garment, the patterns in which you cut to that are sewed together to make the simple jacket, the simple pant. So I will tell you, we've spent countless hours making sure we dialed in the fit, and I will tell you the fit is probably the most important on the pants. Jackets aren't quite as technical, if you will, when it comes to making sure they fit on body. But when you get a pant, it has to move with body. So every time you lift your leg or make a movement, crouch down, you're inherently with unfitted garments creating friction. Whether it's the rise, that's basically the crotch for most people, understanding what a rise is. The more that you lift your leg and the better it fits, the less drag you have or friction, which creates fatigue. So when you think about high active situations, it's got to be a combination of the stretchability of the fabric and then how it's formed or shaped to your body. Those things that come together, which I believe is kind of like chocolate and peanut butter is Reese's. You make those things right.
Yeah.
it just really moves with body, and that's what we strove, James, to work so doggone hard on. And we've had really good reviews. I know you've been in the field with some random people that are friends of us that we sent out that I trust them for an honest opinion and said, Aaron, you guys have absolutely nailed this, and that's a really good feeling when you're on this side of the brand.
Yeah, the feel is huge. Like the camo is great and it looks good, but it's the camo isn't going to be giving you like hip burns on your hips from maybe a belt rubbing or something like that, or seams rubbing on your hips when you got a pack on, things like that. So one question that came up, you mentioned 2-way and 4-way stretch, and maybe this is like technical, but why would you? What's the difference? Why would you use 2 versus 4 or 4 versus 2 when it comes to that? Because I see both of those words thrown around a lot, and don't know much about why you'd go with one over the other.
Yeah, well, four-way stretch is probably where you get the most performance, if you will. But there's situations, James, where we use a lot of two-way, some directional stretch in garments. So when you think about around your waist, around your hips, the horizontal stretch is probably the most important. And when you get into the legs arena, you want more of a directional stretch, if you will. So we run it a lot of times, so it's crossways. So you get the benefit if you're more athletic and you have a bigger thighs, you get some of that horizontal movement. At the same point, when you're lifting your leg, if you cut that diagonally, you get the best of both worlds. It creates some four ways. So believe it or not, there's a lot of science into what I just said. May seem pretty simple, but that combination, and then in stretch is one thing, but then stretch the yin to the yang is making sure you're the right durability in the fabric. So you
Right.
can put all the stretch in the world, like a yoga pant, right? That's multi-stretch, four-way stretch, but then you have a durability. So when you're using nylons or polys and combination of the right, amount of stretch in the garments, it is quite a recipe when it all comes together, James. And the finished garments that you guys have been wearing is a culmination of just a lot of years of experience of knowing what you're developing, who you're developing it for, what's the circumstances, and the challenges you're going to have in that hunting situation. Then how do you bring that all together and make it work for the consumer?
Yeah, no, I love that, and I know you've got like a lot of experience lots of experience in kind of the soft goods apparel, and so that's interesting to know. But that kind of begs the question. So you're looking up at your lineup of clothes, like how do you go about even just picking what types of clothes you're going to have? Like, there are lots of camo companies out there that just have, you go on their website and there's tons of stuff, and it's like, I don't, how do you even go about picking like what's the essential pieces and what to leave out?
Yeah, James, I think one of the things that we committed to off the onset of this brand, and this is not to suggest that we won't have expansion of the assortment, which we will, but we thought that one of the pieces of pure joy in this assortment is it's rather straightforward and simple to shop. And I would
Yeah.
not call the system, because system implies everything needs to come together to make it work. I would use the word toolkit as relates to the TUO Gear assortment. So we have a combination of next to skin silhouettes, which are merino based. So when you think about, tops and bottoms, we have merino solutions there. And then when you get into the layering piece of it, we have a combination of nylons and merino blends that we use in mid layering pieces. And then we have a soft shell. So when I'm kind of going from next to skin and I'm kind of building out, we have a soft shell that is wind resistant, good thermal value, and then we have the ballistic rain jacket and rain pant that I'm telling you, if you ever have to hunt in a rain, which I don't do very often, but when you're out west, how many times have I been elk hunting where you're putting your rain gear on, but then you're not hunting because it's too loud to do anything with? One of, I think,
Right.
a really nice outcome of our ballistic jacket and pant for the rain is you can actually hunt in it. You can actually put on that three-layer
Yeah.
rain jacket, which has great breathability, good durability. You can actually hunt in a garment. So there's, next to skin, building out to an outer shell. I think it's pretty simple. And those things coupled together, those pieces, really take you from the very earliest hunt coming, I make it up, August 15th, when people have already been antelope hunting, into the elk rut, if you will, and where you have really cool mornings, you have warm days, to the first rifle season, out west to late rifle season, you can really scale it all the way up, James, to have a effective solution no matter what the conditions.
Yeah, I like that. The rain gear, the ballistic stuff is crazy cool. It's super quiet, and we were talking about this in the shop yesterday. But I feel like I'll probably be living in that. I've got this float moose hunt in BC, so it's the forecast is showing rain, which is not uncommon there. But I'll also be in the water a lot with waders and everything else on. So the fact that I can have something that's durable and quiet, because a lot of times, like in the past, I'll get like you either have one of those real heavy, almost like rubbery jackets that are loud and squeaky, that are durable and great, but just don't really work for hunting, or like these super ultra lightweight stuff that is great in certain circumstances, but it'll just rip up if you're in alders or moving through briars or whatever else you're going through. So excited about that. The other one I'm intrigued by is this Vision hybrid jacket, this merino blend that you
Yeah.
mentioned. Tell me a little bit about
Yeah,
that.
well, a couple things. I want to say something about the rain deal. Is that
Yeah.
so my situation I talked about in the ballistic rain, like elk hunting. Typically, when you're out elk hunting, you get in rain and it's there for maybe an hour, a couple hours, and you're done. Example where you're going, or think about an Alaska situation, what be it where you're in rain all week long. That's when a piece like the ballistic rain will really pay off, because to my point earlier, you can hunt in it, and hunting in it and staying dry, as you know, from a thermal value, keeping dry is everything. So excited that you're excited about that. And the Vision hybrid jacket,
Mhm.
I think it's a great piece from a layering perspective or outerwear. So we have merino in the arms, we have some nylon in the chest, so you really get a good combination of wind blockage. You get the thermal regulating properties, if you will, a merino wool. It's very form fitting, and it's just a very comfortable piece to hunt in. So again, you can be with our pant, the two-verse pant. You can um, add the merino top, and you put in that Vision hybrid, and the one that's a little cooler, or if it's a little even colder than that, with a puffy, a really, I'd say, mid-layer puffy piece you can put on. Then you can ultimate protection, you put the rain jacket over. So you can use these things in combination to really, I don't care if it's warm, if it's cool, if it's windy, if it's cold. These combinations are what makes it all come together.
Yeah, it's really exciting, and like I said, that one I see. I mean, obviously, for something like you get up, glassing in the morning or whatever, you're a little got the chill. You throw that hybrid jacket on, that's great. Or you're sitting there for a while, but you want to be able to move, but keep something on, and it dumps heat with especially around like the pits, because you go hunting for days on end. That is where the stinkage is going to build up. To have merino and the kind of odor resistant properties of merino there is huge. One question that I get quite a bit about this since we've kind of started with you guys is TUO. What does that mean? Like what was the idea, the concept behind the name TUO?
Yeah, well, one of the root means of Tuo is yours, and we wanted this brand not to be about Aaron, not to be about this brand. We want to be about the consumer, and it maybe sounds a little cheesy, James. I ain't gonna lie, but we are a small enough organization where we do take input, if you will, from people that use it all the time. So as we were going through field testing with this product, we know a lot, but you always have blind spots. And so this notion of your brand, we believe that connotation also goes into there's a customer that doesn't want to be defined by the brand. In other words, I don't want to be badged up, and I want it to complement me as an individual. So this brand is about the individual. It's about complimenting them on their adventure. It's about having experiences in the outdoors that Hollywood can never dream up and write, because they're special. We
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure at the end of the day that you were out there and enjoying what you want to do, and not have to worry about keeping dry, keeping warm, having garments that don't create fatigue, having a lifetime guarantee on the performance of it. And so this notion of yours, it's about your path, your journey, your story to write. We just want to be along for the ride. And that's how I would say
Yeah.
some of the connotation behind this tool and behind the brand, we would want to emulate, if you will, to people listening today.
I love that. No, I love that. Well, you got me interested now, though. You mentioned an antelope hunt. You're going to be taking it on.
Yeah.
Where are you headed?
Yeah, well, I believe it or not, I grew up on a farm and ranch in South Dakota. So when I think about the things that I did, from my dad going, still going to Colorado hunting elk, or if we're on the western plains of South Dakota chasing antelope, chasing mule deer, sometimes river bottoms, hanging in the whitetail stand. So I'm excited to go out west. It's probably my greatest passion, if you will, is chasing antelope. Unfortunately, I'm a lot older than I used to be, so I like to go out in mid-September. Believe it or not, the antelope rut at the same time the elk do. So I don't have an elk tag this year, which I would rather. I don't know if I'd rather be. I've just done elk hunting less than pronghorn antelope hunting. So I'm going out
Right.
on decoying adventure. So the whole tactics and strategy this time of year, or not this time of year, but come mid-September, is you're trying to simulate a small, challenging buck, and you're trying to get within that safety zone of that herd buck with that group of antelope doe, and you get within his safety zone, and he's like, "Hey, buddy, you shouldn't come any closer because these are my girls." And so the whole concept is decoying as you get within, the comfort zone of them, and they're like, "Hey, now you've kind of crossed the line, and I'm pissed off, and I'm ready to come after you." And literally, those antelope go from 0 to 60, and you're behind a decoy on your belly most of the time with an arrow on your bow, and you're going from a prone position to a kneeling position all in one motion, and you have about 1001, 1002 when that antelope comes up, and he usually turns a little broadside to make a shot. So it's a lot of public land, it's a lot of walking, it's a lot of spotting, and really picking the right situation to go after a mature herd buck, and push him in the chest a little bit to get him to react. So I'm excited to go. And I think too, the camo pattern again on the open plains, we've taken pictures there. It's going to perform great. And I'm excited, if you will, to use a combination of the pants and probably the merino tops, and just get after it and do some, I would say, stuff that's really connected to my past. And beyond, whenever you get back, James, in your home dirt, it just always feels like home. I don't care, and I don't care where that dirt
Yeah.
is that you grew up on. It could be in any state. You get back there and you just feel like,
Yeah.
man, I don't see anyone. The gravel roads, I toured the gravel roads that look like gold, like Dirk Bentley says. It may look like gravel, but it's like gold to me. That's kind of the essence of kind of where I grew up. So I'm excited to get out and chase those critters around.
I love that. You what kind of decoys are you using? The kind that attach to your bow, or like a Montana type decoy that folds out, or what do you use out
Well,
there?
I'm still kind of old school, so this dates everyone. Someone will probably go on eBay and see a thing, buy it, but I still use a Mel Dutton decoy. Mel
Ah,
Dutton was from Phillips, South Dakota. He was a school teacher and coach, and I used to do sports in high school and college, but he was an important figure to me. My dad knew him, and he created a silhouette antelope decoy that folds up. It's a three ply, which butt folds in, head folds in. It's got a stake in it, and I still think it is one of the most effective decoys out there. Certainly on Montana. I've had the stuff on the bow, but where we hunt, it's the plains and it's windy, and you get this with a decoy on your bow, and the
yeah.
situations are just not quite right for that. So yeah, that's what I use, and it's tried and true, and it's got quite a few paint chips on it from sliding it around to the prairie, James, and dodging cactus and
Yeah.
crawling under fence lines, and you're always trying to keep a low profile to get in on those antelopes. So yeah, that's what I've done all my life, and kill a lot of bucks, and just love doing it.
That's hilarious. I when you said you're going old school, I thought you were going to tell me cardboard cutout with some paint. Some folks will do that. You could make a decent decoy out of a Amazon box and some art skills, some basic art skills.
Yeah.
So you've got you've got a lineup of 2O stuff coming out. Like I said, I'm taking it out of this moose hunt. We're going to be running it all over the place this year. Joe's taking it out elk hunting and deer hunting and all this stuff. Which is cool. And I think we've got a video coming out with you guys on what our setups are for these hunts. So keep an eye out for that, everybody listening. But what do you? So I'm guessing you've rolled it out now. Are you ready on second iterations of things, thinking about what to roll out next? Is that how this process goes?
Yeah, usually we use a 2-year development cycle. So we'll be in ideation. We have a few pieces already being prototyped and finished for next year. And we'll talk more about that in a future conversation. And then as we build out, we're going to strategically build out key pieces that we think might have open areas in our assortment today. But I think we're going to continue, James, to be tight and right, make sure it's a simple shopping experience for the consumer, and that we don't get into this, where do I start, what do I choose, I'm checking out.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna start an ideation for fall of 25 already. We have some new stuff finishing, like I said, for fall 24, and so it's an exciting journey. We're just hoping people want to come join the journey, James. I mean, you start with 0 customers, and you have a great product, but you got to get in front of people. So we're excited. I came back in the studio yesterday, and I heard, it's always fun when you talk about your kids, but then when you have someone else talk about your kids, your heart kind of gets big. And then when you also then have conversations with likes of folks like you and others have actually been out there using it, it's just a really good feeling. So I hope a lot of people want to have some intrigue and be like, I want something different. I don't want to be mainstream. I kind of want to be on my own beaten path, my own trail. I want to forge my own new direction. And I think we're a great brand to come and join the journey with us and give us a try. And we just be very humble for every transaction, every customer who wants to take this ride with us.
No, that's awesome. Well, we're coming up on time here, so for people that want to do that, that want to check you out, where can they find you? Maybe on social media, or what's your website? Where can they find you guys?
Yeah, so our Instagram, we have a TUO Gear on Instagram. And then the website is TUO Gear, TUO Gear.com. So TUOGear.com, and check it out. And one of the nice things, James, about our relationship, we're going to continue to develop content, tell stories about our gear, and have more collateral and more engagement opportunities so people can learn about us. So yeah, check us out, follow our social media, go to our website, go poke around. Now's the time. All the fun stuff's coming. Football starting this weekend. You got all the hunt.
Life is good.
You got goose season open up, early waterfall. You got antelope season open up already. You got September 1st, elks opening up for a lot of people. So all the fun stuff happens.
Best time
soon.
of year, and we'll be rolling out. Hopefully, this film comes out in November. But this moose hunt that we'll be doing, we'll be trying to showcase a lot of the TUO gear we use. So keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for these videos these guys are working on and some of the content. Everybody, thank you for listening in, and we'll talk to you again soon. Aaron, thanks a lot.
Thank you, James. Appreciate your time today.